Yeah, I'm a dork. I go to the end of this video and play this song all the time now. All right, so the real reason we're here today is to address a comment by Horace, and he says, the problem with selling your items on eBay is that people want quality items that you find for half the price of what they normally sell for on eBay. And Horace, you're right. People want a deal. Most resellers I know don't want to pay full price for something because that eats into their profits. Collectors, same thing, right? They don't want to pay full price for something if they can avoid it because that leaves more money for them to spend on their collection, like Nintendo games or what have you. But there are folks out there who are willing to pay for the asking price or close to it simply because they just want that item. I believe it is our job as a reseller to put our due diligence in, right? Do the best we can to make the listing as appealing as possible to potential buyers out there as we can. That means taking good pictures, describing the item the best we can, test it when we can and disclose the results of the testing, what have you, and make the title catchy, use keywords and stuff. And the best way to do that is look at other listings out there, sold comps, right? You can get some ideas off of recent sold comps on what you should do with your particular listing. And just because somebody wants to pay you half the going rate doesn't mean you have to accept it, especially if you've got the room to store something and put it away in a box and you're willing to wait, for the sale, then by all means wait for it. But also be aware of your asking price may be a little overboard, right? You may be asking a little too much than what things are actually selling for. I don't know your case or situation or what you're referring to specifically, but there are a lot of things to consider, right? Is your item a brand new item? Can people go out there at Walmart and find it and resell it on eBay? Because if that's the case, you've got a lot of people doing that, right? There's people out there trying to get the deals, and especially around Christmas time, we'll just say this baby doll, right? This is a Black Friday deal, and they'll buy it, and then they'll send it into Amazon or put on eBay, and the first couple sales that people put up, they'll start selling for decent profits, but then everybody else starts doing it. And there's so many of these out there that the market just gets flooded and the price eventually comes down. And you have no choice. Well, I mean, you do have a choice, but the best case scenario in something like that is to get rid of it as quick as possible so you can get your money back and re-roll it into something else so that your money's doing like a snowball effect. It's just reason your profit to grow and grow and grow and grow. Now, for used items, pre-owned items, I've found that the profit is a lot better than brand new items on store shelves. Now, for instance, we'll just say this Rainbow Sprite. There's not going to be thousands of listings of this on eBay compared to like that baby doll, right? Just because it's older, it's a collectible. People have gotten rid of them over the years, whereas something like the baby doll, people could just find anywhere, and there's plenty of them. So that's something to think about. Are you trying to sell new items, or are you trying to sell old items, collectibles from back in the day that they no longer make? And I sell a little bit of both, new and pre-owned stuff. I've leaned more into the pre-owned stuff just because the profit is so much better in used old items than in new items. When I first started, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. Before that, I just kind of played around with it. But I really got into Amazon when it came time to retire from the military, and I just needed something to do to make a little extra money and keep myself busy and out of trouble, hopefully, right? But just to give an example, right? So kind of like with the baby doll things, right? And I don't have an account with Loungefly anymore, but I used to. But Loungefly would come out with their wallet, and then everybody and their mom's buying the wallet, right? that has an account with Loungefly or with a distributor that buys from Loungefly, what have you, right? And then they throw it on the market, and you have to follow the MSRP. And then after a certain amount of time goes by, depending on the popularity of the item, the MSRP will eventually come off, and then you can start you can start offering it at a lower price. Well, what happens is, like me, right? I've done this. Some wallets, they're so popular, they just fly off the shelves and everybody runs out of stock. And if you hold on to some of this stuff, right, especially the new item, we're just talking about new items, right? If you hold on to some of it after everybody sells out, now your normal $40 wallet will be selling for like 60 bucks. And that's happened multiple times, right? On the other hand, when you're doing pre-purchases, especially, and you're like, hey, that looks like it might sell pretty good, you might get stuck with a whole bunch of wallets that are selling slow. And once the MSRP comes off of it, the price just drops. And at that point, you're just wanting to get your money back so you can re-roll that money into something else to hopefully make more profit, right? We don't want to lose money on it, but we've definitely lost some money on some wallets. And I've since lost the Loungefly account because of COVID. That really messed everything up with their backlog of shipping stuff and etc. But that's something to think about, right? Especially when it comes to new items. And yes, you are always going to have people who lowball you, but you're also going to have those folks who are willing to give you the asking price. It all depends on you, really, the items you're selling. Is there a market for it? Are you getting them for a good deal? Are you doing your research on the specific item? Like, we'll just say this, right? Did you do your research to make sure that these are selling, and how much are they selling for? And then consider the price you're paying for it. Can you match the asking price out there, or can you offer it at a little bit lower price to potentially undercut all the other sellers and still make a decent profit? Do you have the room to store it? That's one thing, right? If you don't have the room to store a bunch of stuff, then maybe you need to look for smaller items like movies or watches or video games or something, no? And what are you interested in selling? Like, it helps to sell things that you're interested in because you'll know more about it. And I don't know how new you are to this game, but the longer you do it, the more you learn. Just like sports in school, right? If you've never played football before and you join the football team, you don't know nothing about it until you start practicing. And as you keep practicing, you get better at it. And believe me, I started in a basement. Didn't have a whole lot of room, but I'm not trying to brag, but look at this. Only started with a few $100, and there's definitely a lot more than $100 worth of product in this place. And then we've got this upstairs. So I'm not very bright. I'm just determined. And if you focus on the negative, it's not going to really work out for you. But if you focus on the positive and learn from other folks, watch videos, not just me, other folks, you'll continue to learn. You'll find products that you can sell and that'll give you ideals. And eventually, hopefully, God willing, you'll be in the situation that I'm in, where I don't have enough time to list everything. In the end, I'm here to be an encouragement to you, man. Just stay focused on the positive, not the negative. I know it's hard to do sometimes, but the more you can stay focused on the positive, the better usually things work out. Learn from others, be consistent, and the deals will eventually come. Trust me on that. The deals will eventually come. And so if anybody else has any comments or questions or what have you, I'll do my best to answer them, and you can take information for what it's worth, but we definitely appreciate you guys watching.